Tantor Audio presents Cooper by Harper Sloan. Narrated by Sean Crisden and Abby Creighton. Prologue. Asher. "Come on, Coop," I whisper. It's dark in the closet, but I can still make out his huddled form in the back corner. "Come on, Coop, please. Mom will be back soon, and you know she's going to be mad if she hears us." I shift my body so he can see the cracker box I grabbed from the barren kitchen. Mom never brings us food anymore. I'm lucky that my best friend, Joel, lives close and shares his snacks with us, or we wouldn't eat. He doesn't ask questions. Not anymore. "I'm scared, Ash." I ball up my fist when I hear his broken and weak voice. My brother is so small. I just turned 10 last week, but I'm bigger. I know Coop is small because he is always scared. Too scared to come out of the closet our mom always makes us stay in. "We gotta hurry. Move over, Kay?" "Kay?" His weak voice cracks. "Are you still cold?" I question. "Yeah," he replies weakly. When I get to the back of the closet, closing the door tightly behind me, I reach out and hand Coop the box. It only has 7 crackers in it. They're old, but I had to get a few roaches out of the box before I brought it back. Coop doesn't like the bugs that live in the kitchen. "Don't you want some?" He holds the box my way, and even though my stomach crumbles, I shake my head no. "You need some too, Ash." He tries again. "I'm okay, Coop. I had some before I brought them back. You gotta hurry before Mom gets home, okay?" He nods his head and starts to eat sluggishly. I grab one of the bottles of water Joel gave me last week and hand it to him. His head falls to rest against my shoulder while he takes turns eating and drinking slowly. He's getting weaker. He couldn't get up this morning to go to school. He just kept sleeping, so I stayed home. Mom didn't even notice. I could hear her throwing up this morning. She's always throwing up and drinking the nasty stuff. I don't know how long we have been sitting here when I hear the front door bang shut and the sounds of feet stomping around the house. Coop drops the crackers and pulls his legs up to his chest. "Zachariah Cooper, where in the hell are you, you little shit?" Oh, crap. This isn't going to be good. "Ash," he quivers. It's okay. I grab some of the old blankets we sleep on and throw them over Coop. I can hear him whimpering when I crawl over to the door and crack it open. I know she's coming. She wouldn't miss this chance to show Coop how much she hates him. But I won't let her. No, I'm a big boy now, and I won't let her hurt my brother anymore. I hate seeing Coop scared. I'm already standing in the middle of the bedroom when she rounds the corner, her yucky clothes that don't cover her private parts on, and her face smudged with old makeup. I know she's going to be really mean today. "Where is that little shit? He didn't go to school again today. Both of you little shits decided to stay home, and now I've got the school poking around asking questions." She tries to get around me, but with her tall shoes on, she can't move quick enough. That's all the distraction I need for her to focus her attention on me and not on Coop. Just where I want it. Right before her hand reaches out and slashes against my face, I promise myself that I will never let anyone hurt my baby brother. Never. Chapter 1. Asher. "Oh, God, harder! Please, harder!" "Quiet," I pat. "Please, Ash," she begs. After releasing the tight grip I have on her slim hips, I trail my palm slowly up her back, watching the skin my hands pass over break out in goosebumps. I brace my knees farther apart, and when my fingers curl around her shoulders, I finally let myself take her hard. Take her how she craves. It's a bruising pace. My balls are slapping hard against her wet folds and my hips grinding into her ass. I have to close my eyes when I see her turn her face against the pillow, trying to get a better view, I'm sure. "Oh, Ash, just like that, I'm going to come so hard." "Quiet," I remind her. I need her to keep her mouth shut. I need to be able to take my pleasure and selfishly think about the only person I wish I was driving my cock into. The one person whose touch I crave like nothing else I've ever craved before whenever I'm around her. "Fuck," I groan. Yeah, give it to me, baby. Not your baby, I spit out. Fuck no. She starts to push up on her knees, meeting me thrust for thrust. I bring one of the hands that I have curled around her shoulder and press down on the small of her back, reminding her of the place she should stay in. Please let me touch you, Asher. Just let me touch you this time. I smack her ass hard. Her pussy clamps down on my cock and she starts to come. Moving my hand back to her shoulders, I thrust a few more times before I feel my balls start to tighten, and the warmth, that delicious warmth, travels from the base of my spine, filling my body with the pleasure I've been craving right before I feel myself go. Chelsea, I moan. With my eyes closed tight, my hands still curled tightly around her shoulders, and my hips locked into place, I empty myself and pray that this time I won't need her as fiercely as I have for the last few months. What in the hell did you just call me? It takes my fog-filled mind a second to clear before I understand what is being asked. The warm body I just took roughly starts to buck, pushing against my hips. I open my eyes and the vision that filled my mind only seconds before is completely different. The straight blonde hair is gone, having been replaced with bright red curls. The bronze skin, that lickable and silky skin, was replaced with someone much paler. And when she turns her angry eyes on me, it isn't the deep brown eyes I'm used to looking back at me with a mix of compassion and kindness. Nope. I've got twin green eyes blazing with unmasked fury. What in the hell did you just call me? She asks again. When I don't answer her right away, she starts to fight. And I mean fight. I get an elbow to the eye, a foot to the thigh, and worst of all, her nails clip my cheek when she slaps me across the face. I've been warming your sheets for the last 2 months, Asher Cooper, and you just called me another woman's name? 2 months, where I thought we were going somewhere, and you just did that? This is probably when I should calm her down. There is nothing worse than a woman who feels used, even if that's exactly what it was. But being that I'm already halfway to wasted and the majority of my brain is still scrambled from just coming hard, I don't think before I open my mouth. Now, let's calm down, Chrissy. It's fucking Clarissa, you idiot! She screeches and starts to slap me against the chest. Jesus Christ, woman, can you calm the hell down? If anything, she gets a little more fuel with her little fists. I can feel her nails scoring my skin every few slaps. So what do? The only thing that makes sense to my liquor-filled mind. I leap off the bed and run. I can hear her scrambling to catch me, but she doesn't stand a chance. Even drunk off my ass, she wouldn't catch me. I pass the dresser, snagging my cell off the top before I leap over our discarded clothes and slam the door to the bedroom, turning the lock right as her fists connect with the wood. She must be kicking as well as banging against the wood because the whole frame is vibrating with her fury. You stupid douchebag! I lose track of everything she screams through the door. Then I can hear her destroying the room. I can hear thuds of the furniture being overturned and glass shattering against the hardwood. I grab the towel I used earlier off the floor, giving it a sniff before wrapping it around my waist. Shit. Okay, I probably deserved a little of that. I've been taking Clarissa, the bartender at Heavy's, home for the last few months off and on. There was never a promise of a relationship. Hell, every time I've taken her home, I've been drunk off my ass. Maybe I should have explained a little better to her that all this would ever be is sex. I'm in no damn shape to give myself to anyone. Especially not when the only woman I want is the one who acts like I've got the fucking plague whenever I touch her. No, I want one woman, and until I can figure out what has her running scared every time I hint at something more than a friendship, I'm better off with my good friends Jack and Jim. After a few seconds of silence, I take a chance and click the lock, cracking the door open slightly. Peeking around the opening and seeing the room completely trashed is enough of a distraction for the small fist to come flying out of nowhere and smashing right into my already sore eye. "Son of a bitch!" I roar.
"You got that right, you sorry piece of shit. The next time you want to warm your dick up, why don't you make an effort to actually remember the name of the body you're using?"
She gives me a good shove, and before I can regain my feet, I fall flat on my ass. And the only thing I can think is, how in the hell did I let my life become this? Spying a full bottle of Jack, unbroken, in the chaos that used to be Maddox's guest room, I pull myself off the floor and, without bothering to get dressed, fall back on the bed. Then I proceed to drink myself into oblivion.
Chapter 2. Chelsea. Crap. How do I lose my keys twice in 1 week? Ever since I moved into Dee's old apartment, I swear I've been falling apart at the seams. It doesn't help that everything is changing around me so rapidly that I can't seem to hold on tight enough. New town, new friends, new home, and the baby. A fresh wave of loss washes through me when I think about the father my child will never know. Shifting my weight, I drop my bags of groceries on the floor, switch my purse to the other arm, and start looking for my phone. Come on, where's the damn thing? I mutter to myself, checking each pocket before dropping down to kneel on the carpeted floor and dumping the contents of my purse out. Are you kidding? Gone. My phone is just gone. Careful to steady my balance, I drop lightly on the floor next to my door. I want to cry. I really do, but I know it won't change anything. It's insane how quickly everything can change around you. It could be worse. I know that. But right now, it feels a hell of a lot like rock bottom. I take a deep breath, resting my hand against my slightly rounded stomach, and blink back the tears that keep threatening to burst through my carefully built wall. It's only been a few months since I packed up everything I owned and moved to Georgia. It all started when my boss and good friend Dee was attacked, leaving me feeling so completely vulnerable and alone that I didn't know what end was up. Seeing her coming so close to death just did something to me that I can't explain. I've always been strong and independent, but seeing that, it just hit me. I turned to the closest thing I could find to make me feel alive again, the one and only Zeke Cooper. He was fun, hilarious, and best of all, a distraction to the mess around me. I've never been the type of girl who just hooks up with anyone. I crave stability and love to fall into a man's bed, but I needed something that he was more than willing to give. I knew the score, and I was okay with it. He wasn't the type of man a girl goes into anything with hoping that she'll get the white picket fence and the cookie-cutter house. No, he was the type of man a girl goes to when she needs to escape the world around her. All it took was one night. And then he was taken from everyone. I never imagined that my stalling to tell him that he would be a father meant that he would never know. I just didn't know how to tell the king of hookups that his one-night stand was about to turn into a lifetime of commitments. Now my little one's father is gone. I never anticipated being a mother. I had a plan. Find a man. A great man. The kind of man who puts you on a pedestal and shows you daily how much he loves you. I wanted the happily ever after that dreams are made of. But more importantly, I knew that I never wanted to raise a child as a single mother. I wanted my children to have the love of both parents. Sighing deeply, I pull myself off the floor, brushing off the stress of situations I have no control over. What's the point? It's not going to bring my baby's father back. The second I climb to my feet, I remember who might be able to help me out of this situation. Maddox. Last I heard from Izzy, who'd heard it from Axel when he was talking to Cage, Maddox was back in town for a little while. He's been gone for a few weeks trying to talk Emmy into coming home. The poor girl has been going through so much after Coop's murder that I really don't see how he's going to be successful. I hope he is, though. Even though I don't know Emmy that well, she is definitely someone I miss having around. Luckily for me, he has a key to my place. One thing that can be said about this little family I've come to love: they make sure they have every aspect of each other's lives covered. It should feel weird that a man I don't really know all that well has a key to my place, but right now, when all I can think of is getting back into my bed and sleeping for a year, I'm thankful that he does. It doesn't take me long to make the trek up to Maddox's top-floor apartment, but by the time I do, my nerves are flying all over the place. I shouldn't be nervous, but let's face it, there isn't anything about Maddox's lock that isn't insanely intimidating. It could be worse. It could be Asher. I quickly dismiss the thought. Asher is the one man who makes me insane, with unleashed desire. And the worst part? He's Zeke Cooper's brother, and the uncle to my unborn child. We've become close over the last few months. I try to keep my lust to a simmer when I'm around him, but he's just so... God, I don't even know. He towers over me, probably close to 6'4" or so. He isn't huge like Axel, but there's nothing about him I would call small. No, he is built solid with trim hips and the hottest butt I've ever had the pleasure of gawking at. The part that kills me is that he looks so much like his brother. I know they were close in age, but they could have passed as twins. Shaking off the thoughts of Asher Cooper, I come to a stop in front of Maddox's apartment door and give my breathing a chance to calm down. Just the thought of Asher has my heart rate spiking and my skin feeling flush, which is a testament to how badly I need some attention. I have a feeling that, with my raging hormones, I would start humping his leg if he were around. Jesus, Chelsea, get a freaking grip. Sighing deeply, I bring my hand up to knock on Maddox's door. It takes a second, and a few more knocks before the door is swung wide and I am met with the blue-eyed devil of sex appeal himself, Asher Cooper. Before I can even open my mouth, he's snarling, "What the hell do you want?" "Excuse me?" I question, stepping back from the waves of anger that are rolling off of him. My skin starts to tingle, and I just know that I'm missing something here. Something feels off.
"I said, what the hell do you want?"
It takes me a second, but when he moves to come towards me, I am hit with the unmistakable smell of heavy liquor. Damn it, not again. One thing about Asher is that he's as nice as can be and genuinely a fun guy to be around, until he's drowning his grief in a bottle. Then it's like he doesn't even see anything but his pain. His eyes narrow at my stupid stuttering, and I can tell by his facial expression that no matter what I say, he's primed and ready for a fight.
Not a fucking hard question, sunshine. What the hell do you want? If it's anything other than lying on your back and spreading those thighs, then I'm not interested.
The hell?
I've got plenty of this to go around,
he arrogantly states while waving his hand over his crotch.
All you need to do is say the word. I'm all about my ladies having some meat on their bones.
I can feel my face heat with embarrassment. Yeah, I'm at that awkward stage in my pregnancy where I look like I've just had way too much fun at KFC, and then went over to the bakery and asked for one of everything. My mind is telling me that he doesn't mean it, but deep down it hurts.
"How dare you?"
I squeak. Yes, squeak.
"What? There isn't anything to be ashamed of. Your tits, though? Damn. Now those make up for the extra weight."
It's like my hand just moves without my permission. One second I'm ready to go hide in a dark hole, and the next I'm pissed to the brim. When my hand cracks across his cheek, sending his head to the side and shocking us both, I want to take it back, but in the end, I square my shoulders and wait for him to tear me down again. When his eyes come back to mine, the shock of my slap taking some of his drunken buzz away, he just looks at me. I can see each of my fingers shining like neon across his tan skin, causing a wave of distress to hit me.
"Did you just slap me?"
he asks, clearly confused now that he isn't stuck on drunken douche mode. "You have got issues, Asher. Serious issues. I have no clue what has you jumping back into the bottle, but I deserve a lot more than your crap." My chest is rising as rapidly as my temper, and all I want to do is take him by the neck and shake the shit out of him.
"I'm sorry."
How is it possible for you to forget all that verbal vomit that you just spewed? Well, don't you worry about it, Ash. When you sober up, maybe then you can come and let the chubby chick know that you're sorry. All I care about right now is talking to Maddox and finding the spare to my apartment so I can go to bed. I'm tired, and the last thing I want to do is deal with a drunk you.
He isn't here,
he says, still looking at me as if he's seeing me in some weird light. Well, isn't that just great? I mumble.
Hold on, I'll go get the key.
He comes back a few seconds later and mutely hands me a key. I don't even spare him a glance. I snatch the key and walk away. I can feel my emotions getting the best of me, and the last thing I want is to let him know that he's hurt my feelings. It's on the tip of my tongue to tell him exactly what I think of him, but I know he won't even hear it when he's this lost.
Hey, Chelsea.
I hear right when the elevator door opens. I brush the lone tear from my cheek and turn.
I'm sorry, okay?
Yeah, Asher, so am I. I know he doesn't mean it. Well, hell, maybe he does. But when he's drunk, he becomes someone I just don't want to be around. And I can't help but wonder if the precarious friendship we have slowly been building was just knocked down because he doesn't know how to heal from the pain of losing his brother. Chapter 3. Chelsea. It's been a week since the awkward showdown with Asher. He hasn't said anything, neither have I, and to be honest, I'm not sure what there is to say. We aren't best buddies, and at this point, I don't even know if we're friends or if I'm just some stupid girl who's been trying to find a way to tell him about the baby. Sure, there has always been an underlying attraction that just simmers under the surface. I don't know if it's just one-sided on my end, but sometimes I think that I can see the same heat I feel towards him burning beneath his sapphire eyes. Chelsea, did you hear me? I look over at Dee with a frown. Sorry, I must have spaced out. I haven't been sleeping well lately. Her face softens for a second before her eyes narrow in concern. And why haven't you been sleeping well? Is everything okay with the baby? What? Oh, no, the baby is fine. I have my checkup coming in 3 weeks, and we should be able to find out what the gender is. I sigh. I'm just in a funk. I had a run-in with a drunk Asher last week. Her eyes widen for a second before she lets out a heavy breath. Yeah, everyone knows what drunk Asher means. Was it that bad? Well, let's see. He called me fat. Basically said he would fuck me even though I was chubby. And then when I went to leave, he acted like he didn't even know why I was pissed. So yeah, it was pretty bad. It's just, now I don't know how to act. He did what? She practically shrieks in outrage. Dee turns in her chair and spins so that she is facing my desk. We've been working in her home office all day, catching up on some work that we've been putting off. I think at this point, though, she is just giving me some things to keep my mind busy. She doesn't really need me as much now that she closed the North Carolina branch of her insurance company. I think we both know that we're grasping at straws to keep me working for her. I know, it was pretty brutal, but in his defense, he was really drunk. No, not just drunk, he was trashed. He didn't just reek of alcohol, Dee. He looked like he had gone round for round with a cat and lost. I smile a little at the memory. He might have been a giant ass, but I felt a little better knowing that he looked like he was feeling the bad end of the barrel. I have no idea what the hell happened before his, whatever that was between us, but he looked terrible, Dee. Chelsea, she starts. I hold my hand up before she can continue. I know it's coming. It's the same thing that's been coming since the day I told her I was pregnant with Coop's baby. The same thing that will continue to come until I grow some lady balls and tell Asher that I'm pregnant with his late brother's child. I know, okay? I know. The longer I wait, the harder it will be for everyone involved. But please tell me how I tell a man who's either drowning in a bottle or sleeping his way through his misery that his brother knocked me up. Huh? Because the first thing he will think is the worst. I just know it. I didn't ask for this, Dee. I'm thankful that I've been given this chance to become a mother. But I never asked for this. I end in a whisper, angrily wiping the few stray tears that roll down my cheeks with the back of my hand. I don't want to be that stupid, weak girl who gets all weepy when shit goes wrong. I'm stronger than that. I refuse to be a backseat driver in my own life. I might not have asked for this, hell, I might not have even wanted this option ever, but I will be damned if I lie down and live in self-pity. When he isn't being a jerk, a whore, or a drunk, he really is such an awesome guy. He's just so lost right now. If I tell him about the baby, he's either going to freak out or blame me. I just know it. Dee looks at me with unconcealed pity. It would anger me, but I know she is coming from the right place. It's a no-win situation, but it's my no-win situation. I can't sit here and bitch about it, hoping for her to fix my problems. No, it's all on me, and it's time I man up and do something about it. I can't move on from this hole I've seemed to dig for myself until I start to build the ladder to climb back up. And that starts and ends with Asher. I'm here if you need me, but please tell him soon. I look at him and it's like looking in the mirror sometimes. He needs something to hold on to, Chelsea. He needs to know that his life is worth more than this misguided path of vengeance and self-destruction. I nod my head and make a promise to myself to get Asher alone and sober and finally let him know about the baby. Why am I doing this? I wonder, looking at my reflection in the mirror for the 10,000th time. It's Saturday night, and for some ungodly reason I let Dee talk me into going on a blind date. Why she thinks I should be dating being almost 4 months pregnant is beyond me. No man is going to look at all of this lovely baggage I'm carrying around and think that this is a sure bet. The phone starts ringing right when I finish applying the last of my makeup. After making my way down the short hallway and into the living/dining room of my apartment, I quickly grab the phone before it rolls over to voicemail. Hello?
Hey, you! Are you excited for your date tonight?
Dee's voice comes through the phone thick with excitement. No. You know I don't want to be doing this, Dee. I don't see the point. It's not like I can hide the fact that I'm pregnant if I plan on seeing him again. I would feel dishonest not telling him. She pauses for a second.
It doesn't have to be the focus of your date, Chels. Just because you're about to have a perfect little bundle of love doesn't mean that defines your life. You deserve to be happy, too. I know you don't want to go out with Nicholas tonight, but he's a really nice guy. Who knows? You might hit it off, and then you can thank me at your wedding. She snickers when she finishes, and I can just picture her laughing at herself. Ever since Dee and Beck worked out their issues, and boy, there were some heavy issues, she's gone from being lukewarm about relationships to being a walking, talking advocate. She's happy, so she wants everyone else around her to feel the same happiness and love that she does. I've got to give her some credit, though. She really lucked out with John Beckett, and I would probably feel the same way if I were in her shoes. The love that those two have for each other is almost too much to watch. Jesus, Dee, I just don't think this is the right time, you know? I complain. Even to my own ears, I just sound like I'm bitching, which I am. Yeah, and when will be the right time? When the baby is here, when the baby is older, when you're 70? I get it, really, I do. But you can't just keep living your life working and sitting at home.
I don't just sit at home, I bristle.
Yeah, you do.
I can feel myself getting frustrated with this conversation, and the last thing I want to do is snap at Dee when she is clearly just trying to do something nice, even if it is unwarranted. I do other things, I weakly argue.
Huh, like what?
The challenge is clear in her words. The other day, Shit, she's right. There really isn't much I do. I work with her, I go to weekly dinners with the group, I help, used to help, Asher, and I write.
I know,
I yelp a little too loud.
I went to my first creative writing class the other day.
I throw my fist up in the air, realizing that I have her there. Writing has always been a passion of mine. Nothing I've ever had the guts to pursue at a deeper level other than dabbling. It wasn't until everything with Coop happened that I realized just how precious life was. From that day on, I've made a point to work on things I've always been afraid to try. I might never do anything with the book I've been working on for the last 4 years, but it's there, and more importantly, it makes me happy.
As proud of you that I am, there is no way that counts. I'm talking about going out, meeting a M-A-N.
I don't need a man, Dee. Just because I've got a baby on the way in no way means that I need a man to take care of me. My mom managed just fine. Not only was she a single mother, but also she never made me feel like I was a burden on her life. She was the best parent I could ever imagine. A man doesn't define whether I or my child, for that matter, have a good life. I can feel my throat burning with unshed tears, just begging to get out when I think about my mom. It's been almost 5 years since I lost my mom to breast cancer. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't miss her. She had been struggling for a good year before she passed away. It wasn't sudden, and even though we had time to come to terms with her imminent death, it wasn't easy. One thing that keeps me going is knowing that, wherever she is now, she's proud of me. I know she is. Sure, she wouldn't have wanted me to be a single mother like she was. No mother wants her child to deal with being a single parent. But she taught me everything I know about love and, more importantly, how to love a child. So I know she's happy.
I didn't mean that, Chelsea,
Dee whispers into the phone. Her earlier excitement has obviously dimmed because of my attitude. I instantly feel guilty for letting my crazy pregnancy hormones get the best of me. I'm sorry, Dee. I know you're just trying to help. I just don't know if I want to even be in a relationship. I'm going because, who knows, I might be, and I might meet someone worth taking the chance. I take a deep breath and realize that everything I just said is true. I might not want to go or even think I need a man right now, but I could also be keeping the door to my own personal happiness locked tight by refusing to go.
Really?
She questions. The earlier bravado in her voice is completely gone, making me feel like crap. Really, Dee, thanks for everything. I'll let you know how things go tonight with Nicholas, okay? We talk for a few more minutes while I continue to get ready before getting off the phone. I walk back into my bedroom and close the door, turning to face the mirror that is hanging behind it. I take a deep breath and look over myself with a detached eye. My dark blonde hair is hanging loose in waves. My makeup is minimal but still flattering. Even to myself, I can admit that I'm good-looking. I won't be starring on America's Next Top Model anytime soon, but I can turn heads. My eyes might be a little too large for my face, but they're a unique gold brown that I've always been told is beautiful. My nose is straight, not too large or wide, and my lips are plump and full. My eyes travel down my body, taking in the loose black dress that hangs from my body in a flattering way, and successfully hides a little bump my baby gives my stomach. Smiling, I press the fabric to my stomach and rub the slight roundness. It's you and me, kid. After turning from the mirror, I grab my heels from the bed, balancing on one foot and then the other before I'm ready to go. On the way out of the apartment, I let myself think about the man who not even a week ago consumed my every thought, before he made a giant ass of himself, that is. I might still be holding a ridiculous crush on Asher Cooper, but I like to think that even I'm smarter than to let that torch burn when it's clear he wants to stay in the darkness. Have a good night, Joe, I called to the apartment's older and friendly doorman. You as well, Miss Avery, he replies, a smile in his voice. I walk to my car and, with a deep breath, hope for the best with the night yet to come. Chapter 4. Chelsea. My nerves are a wreck by the time I pull up to the restaurant Nicholas told me to meet him at. I hadn't heard of Slice before, and, to be honest, I really didn't care where I was going. I'm just ready to get this started and over with. 7 on the dot, and so nervous I feel as if I'm going to puke all over my brand-new dress. I press my palm against my belly, rubbing the rounded skin that holds my child within, and say a silent prayer that everything will go well tonight. Dee swears that Nicholas is a great guy, and from the few times that I've talked to him on the phone, I have to agree. It's now or never, I whisper to myself. If I waste another second sitting here, letting my nerves overtake me, then I know I'll turn the car back on and take off as fast as I can. Go back home where it's safe, where I can pretend that life outside my little bubble isn't a big fat unknown. It takes me a second to adjust to the lighting in the restaurant. It isn't like it is bright outside, being that it's 7 at night, but it's so dimly lit inside that I have to squint for a second before walking up to the hostess. Or who I assume is the hostess. Yeah, she questions, looking up from her desk, snapping her gum loudly and twirling her long pink and clearly very unwashed hair. Okay. I think I might be in the wrong place. I mumble more to myself than to the lovely piece of happiness in front of me.
Sure,
she snaps, rolling her eyes and picking up the magazine she was reading before I had the audacity to interrupt her. I open and close my mouth a few times before I snap it shut and try to calm my climbing temper.
Excuse me,
I force out through gritted teeth.
What lady?
She barks, throwing her magazine down and looking at me as if I am the offending party here.
Is this or is this not Slice?
I know damn well it is, but for the life of me, I can't understand how this thing in front of me has a job anywhere, let alone somewhere where she's in charge of first freaking impressions.
Lady, do you know how to read? It's on the door when you walk in.
The hell? I can feel the heat of anger painting my skin red. I'm going to blow up at this girl, and it's not going to be pretty. Usually I have no issues controlling my temper, but when people want to act like half-wit window lickers, I just can't hold it back. Listen here, dollface. I don't know what in the hell crawled up your sweet-as-pie ass this morning and made you turn into the spawn of Satan, but that is no excuse to act like your shit doesn't stink. For some unknown reason, your boss decided you would be an oh-so-pleasant person to have sit on your butt and treat paying customers like garbage. Do you need me to show you how it is you should greet someone? Let's repeat after me, shall we? Hello and welcome to Slice. How may I help you this evening? I have to ball my hands into tight fists to keep from reaching out and shaking the tar out of this little twit. My chest heaves with frustration. Her overly lined with the blackest liner eyes narrow, and I can just see it working behind them that she's about to say something else that would just piss me off further. I hold my hand up, stopping inches in front of her face, and roll my eyes when I see her face flash with irritation. Irritation at me. Listen, I'm sure you're just normally so full of sweetness that you're just about to apologize for being a massive bitch. But let me save you the trouble. Run out to the store and grab yourself some Midol. Maybe while you're there, you can meet a nice man to get you off, since clearly you're suffering from some sort of frustration. If by then you still aren't feeling the joyful tingles of happiness, maybe you can find something else to occupy your time. Clearly being a people person just isn't your thing. Now tell me, where in the hell is the bar in your fine establishment? I put my hand down when I finish, rolling my eyes when she just stands there gaping at me. She finally lifts her hand and points to the left. I don't waste a second longer. Turning on my heels, I walk into the darkened doorway that I hope leads to the bar. I might have paid a little more attention to the waves of trepidation that keep flushing over my skin, but unfortunately for me, the little ray of happiness that met me at the door is making it impossible to focus on anything else. Slice isn't as bad as I expected, but it is by no means a restaurant, and it is definitely not a place I would ever think a first date should be held. The room I walked into is vast and dark. There are smoke puffs floating around the air, causing me to cough a few times when I walk through a thick one. The lights are even darker in here, and given the way the lights keep flashing and sweeping the area with the low beats of some popular pop song, my guess is that I just walked into a bar, and by the looks of it, not one I would typically enjoy. There are booths lining the room, some high-top tables with bar stools pulled close, and in the center of the room is a long rectangular bar. I'm assuming that it's raised above the floor level, because other than the sea of bodies around it, I can't see much. The bartenders are dressed in what can only be described as their underwear. The shorts, which are skin-tight and bright red, hug their curves and make me very aware that I am no longer a size 5. Their bra-like top is hugging, pushing, and squeezing their boobs. Hell, they're basically defying freaking gravity. I look down at my own chest, which isn't lacking, but it most definitely isn't pushing my nipples into my eyeballs. With a deep sigh, I take off for the bar in hopes that finding Nicholas will be easier than it looks. Luckily, we exchanged emails and a few pictures, so we both know what the other looks like. He told me this morning what he would be wearing, which isn't much help since just about every other man in the general location of the bar is wearing a black shirt. I walk up to the bar, trying to get the bartender's attention, and quickly realize that if I had a dick, this would be much easier. This was a mistake, I think. There's no reason for me to be here. Just when I'm getting ready to just say the hell with it and leave, I spot him. He isn't unattractive. He just isn't my type, or at least the type that I've found I only have eyes for lately. The tall blonde and blue-eyed variety seems to be the only one occupying all of my fantasies. Nicholas is an attractive man. He isn't overly tall. My guess is somewhere around 6 foot. He has jet black hair that curls up around his neck in that sexy, I don't really need a haircut kind of way. I remember from his picture that his eyes are an attractive gray color. His face is all angles and high cheekbones. And he oozes player, which is very evident since he is currently leaning over the bar, whispering in the bartender's ear. What a freaking joke. Straightening my shoulders, I set off in his direction. Might as well just get this over with. If I at least say hello to him, I don't have to lie to Dee when I tell her that we just didn't connect. It takes me a second to get through all of the people crowding the bar. The music has gotten considerably louder since I walked in only a few minutes ago. The bodies that are dancing around the bar make it hard to walk without being jostled, and the last thing I want is to be pushed and, God forbid, fall. I finally reach Nicholas just in time to see him lift the bartender's hand up to his lips and give her a wink before kissing her knuckles. What a schmuck, I think. It's a shame that he's obviously such a douchebag, because he wouldn't be bad to look at for a few dates. I laugh at myself before reaching my hand out and tapping him on the shoulder. He leans over and says something in her ear, causing her to look over at me before meeting his eyes again. Then she nods her head before walking away. What the hell was that? He turns, his smile still in place, and doesn't even pause before letting his eyes take in every single inch of my skin. I can feel his eyes as if they are a physical touch, and even though it's a clear sign, as if I need another one, that this man is a major douche, I can't help but feel a little more confident that I clearly can still make his eyes flash with arousal. In your face, Asher Cooper, with all your bullshit chubby talk. Nicholas? I question.
Ah, Chelsea. I was beginning to think you had stood me up.
He grabs my hand, mimicking the same play he put on just seconds before with the bartender. It takes all of my willpower not to snatch my hand out of his and run to find the closest bathroom. Nope, just had a little trouble finding the place, so Slice is interesting.
Yes, very interesting, he mumbles while his eyes never leave my chest.
What a tool. Would you like to go find a place to sit? I ask, hoping that he might just tell me that he'd rather spend time with a Playboy bunny behind the bar.
Of course, forgive me. It's been a long week and my head must not be on right.
He waves his hand in front of him, hinting for me to take the lead. When I start off in the direction of an empty booth, his hand rests heavily against the small of my back. The first step I take, his hand leaves my back, caressing my ass before giving me a little tap. I yelp before spinning around and glaring at him.
He holds his hands up. Sorry, sweet cheeks. I just couldn't resist.
It would be best if you remember to keep your hands to yourself, Nicholas. I snap. He smirks and gives me a wink before grabbing my hand and taking off in the direction we were headed. I try unsuccessfully to pull my hand from his, but he keeps his firm hold on mine. What a nightmare. So far, I've been in date hell for about 2 hours, and within those 2 hours, I've actually talked to my date for about 30 minutes. The second we sat down, ordered some finger food, since that was the only thing offered, and some drinks, non-alcoholic for me and shot after shot for him, he disappeared. I would have left, but the greasy food was so good that I couldn't stop eating. And then I ordered some more, along with another water with lemon, and by the time I realized that I had been people-watching and living in my own head, another hour had passed. It isn't abnormal for me to space out when I'm in the middle of a crowded place. For as long as I can remember, I've wanted to be a writer. It doesn't matter where I am. I sit and story after story just filter through my head. Clearly, I have been living in my own personal bubble, because while I was writing a new story in my head, my date vanished. Well, isn't this lovely? I flag down one of the scantily clad waitresses and pay the bill, the whole bill, before grabbing my purse and heading off to the bathroom before I leave. The hallway leading to the bathroom is oddly quiet. The lighting's just as bad as the rest of this place, dark and smoky. Once I make it up to the door marked Chicks, I give it a good shove before realizing that it's locked. I would leave, But since I was sitting there living in my head, I downed 7 waters, and right now, Baby Bean is making it very clear that space is limited, and my bladder looks like a nice pillow. Knocking on the door, I yell, "Excuse me, is anyone in there?" "Yeah, bitch, hold the hell on," comes a muffled reply, followed by a crash and some giggles that quickly turn into one of the longest moans. While I'm sitting here about to pee on myself, cobwebs having collected around my neglected pussy, some chick is getting her rocks off. Life is not fair. I laugh at the thought of my lacking sex life. It's not for lack of want. Lord knows the pregnancy hormones have me turning into some sex-craving whore. But there is only one man my body craves, and regardless of what I tell myself, that will never happen. "Come on, pinch your tit and roll your hips, dude. Showtime is over," I yell, slamming my fist against the wooden door. I hear some more grunts, moans, and muted curses before silence takes over. I'm just about to say the hell with it and brave the men's room when I hear the lock disengage and the door swings open. Honey McSexpot from the bar struts out first, fluffing her hair and hooking her uniform top back into place. Her makeup is all over her face, and her hair looks like she stuck her head under the hand dryer in the bathroom. I laugh. Yeah, that's right. I literally laugh in her face at the picture before me. "Honey, you might want to check your face before you go back to work." "Whatever, bitch. You might want to check your date," she shoots back before walking back down the hall. I don't even think about what the heck she just said. I'm more focused on the toilet paper sticking out of the crotch on her shorts. What a whore. I'm still laughing to myself when I turn back to the bathroom and collide with a firm chest. "Whoa there, pretty thing. If you want some of Nick the Dick, all I have to do is ask. Didn't think you were the type, but I'm more than ready for round 2. I squeeze my eyes shut and bite my tongue to keep myself from laughing even harder at the hilarity of the situation. Nick the Dick? What a mess this whole night has turned out to be. "Nicholas, I would say it's been a pleasure, but being the minute man that you seem to be, that would be a lie. I should thank you for showing me just what I've been lucky enough to miss out on here." I take a second to look at him, really look at him, and this time I can't stop the laughter that bubbles out. "You do realize that you have a tampon stuck to your face, right?" As disgusting as it is, I can't stop laughing. By far, this is the worst date I have ever been on. Knowing that my date was busy fucking the bartender should sting. I clearly don't have the wow factor anymore, and that is perfectly fine with me, especially since the prick I was supposed to be here with now has a very used tampon stuck to his face. He looks confused for a second before spinning on his heels and running back into the bathroom. I can hear his girlish yelp seconds before I hear him losing his stomach. And I just turn, walk to the men's room, relieve myself, and then head the hell home. I don't stop laughing until I'm waving at Joe and safely behind my apartment door. Only then do I realize just how lonely I really am, and my giggles turn into sobs.
Chapter 5. Asher.
"Come on, faggot, you're nothing but a piece of white trash." "Such a crybaby, trailer trash." "Where's your big bad brother now, little boy?" "Expecting a flood soon, huh? Can't even get clothes that are clean?" "How bad do you want this apple? Want it bad enough that you'll kiss my feet, gay boy?"
I can hear them taunting him before I even round the building. I know what I'm going to find. It's the same thing that I found last week after Coop came home from school with a black eye. He looked terrible, which really isn't that hard for us. Coop started high school this year, and I knew it would be bad. It was bad for me, too, until I taught those bully shits what taunting me will get them. I had to fight for my respect, but no one messes with me now. I might not be wearing name-brand clothes. I can't even buy my own lunch without government assistance. And I will never be a kid in this school who drives a brand-new BMW. But I will demand respect that, at even 15, I know means more than any name-brand item I could ever own. Coop and I don't have nice things. Hell, we don't even have kind of nice things. We have shit. We have filth. We have nothing. But we have each other, and we will always have each other. My piece of shit excuse for her mother doesn't even try to take her hands to Coop anymore. Not since the last time I scared her so bad she pissed all over herself. I tower over the woman who gave birth to us. She tried to take a shovel to Coop last year when I had snuck him a piece of cake I'd stolen from a local baker. She came home, saw us laughing and eating real food, and went nuts. All it took was my getting in her face and threatening to flush all of her pills. She took one look at me, big for my age, vibrating with years of hate, and backed down. These days, she is gone more than home, thank Christ. I can still hear them when I finish the remaining steps that will take me to what I know will end in a lot of fists flying and blood spraying. It's time to teach these motherfuckers that they don't touch my brother. My gut clenches when I see him, my brother, curled into his small self. He's small for his age, but then again, when you lack the proper nutrition needed to actually grow, I guess that's normal. His bony arms are wrapped around his head. His head is tucked into his bent legs, and he is rocking back and forth. And it breaks my heart. I wish I could take all of the pain and all of the hurt away from him. I wish that I could make it so that he never suffered. I wish I could save him from the world.
Get the hell away from my brother,
I roar. All 5 of the bullies who are walking circles around my brother's huddled form turn their heads at my voice. When I see the evil gleam in their eyes, I know that there is no way I'm going to walk away from this fight without feeling it.
Come on, shithead, you want to pick on someone? Then pick on someone your own size. Oh, we will be happy to,
Dylan Sharpton grunts.
My pleasure, fucker,
Drew Carty snarls. I hear the others chime in, but I only have eyes for Coop. I see him peek through his folded arms, and I mouth the only thing I can before 10 fists are flying towards me. Run. I know this won't be pretty. I know I'm going to feel every second of this, but I'm going to fight these jackasses until I can't fight anymore. I watch Coop struggle to his feet, giving me one more look of fear before he runs as fast as he can around the way I came. Safe. And then I fight.
Wake the hell up,
I hear, followed by a hard kick to my ass. Before I can stop my body, I'm rolling over the side of the guest bed in Maddox's apartment and landing hard on the wood floor.
What the fuck?
I slowly climb off the floor because every damn inch of my body is screaming in protest.
Yeah, what the fuck would be a good question, seeing as my whole fucking apartment looks like a tornado came through here, not to mention how you look.
I look up and meet the pitch-black depths of Maddox Locke's cold, hard stare. What are you doing here? I question, trying to wake myself up.
Newsflash, I live here.
Oh, right.
Yeah, oh, right. What the fuck, Asher? I ask you to stay here and watch the damn cat. Watch the cat. Did I say to make yourself comfortable and re-fucking model while you were here?
I'll be the first one to admit that I've spent the better part of the last, I'm not sure how long, stuffed in the bottom of whatever bottle I can find. But I honestly have no damn clue what the hell he's talking about. Maddox called me last week, that much I remember, and asked me to come stay at his apartment and keep his cat fed and shit. But the rest of that? Nope, no idea. And clearly, with how hard his stare is getting, he knows I'm clueless right now.
You need to lay off the booze, brother. I understand you. Trust me, I do. But you can't keep drinking away your grief. Scream, yell, fuck it out. But do not sit here and drink yourself into a grave right next to Coop. You know damn fucking well he wouldn't want that for you.
He looks at me for a few more beats before he walks away from where I'm standing, mouth gaping, and shuts the door with a loud click echoing throughout the otherwise silent room. He has no fucking clue. None of them do. No one knows what it's like to lose the other part of your goddamn life. No one. They all look at me with pity, and it makes me sick. My brother was my reason for living. For as long as I can remember, he was the reason I woke up, and now that he's gone, I have no clue how to move on from this darkness I've been drowning in. Every time I close my eyes, I see his smile, and it kills me to know that I wasn't there to save him when he needed me. For the first time that I can remember, I let him down. And I have no idea how to move on from that. After taking a scalding hot shower, I'm finally feeling human enough to join Maddox. Judging by the noises coming from the living room, that's where I'm going to find him. Coming around the corner, I feel my mouth drop. What the hell happened to this place? He wasn't wrong. It looks like a tornado came through. Hell, there might have been an earthquake as well. Maddox isn't big on the whole decoration shit, but then again, being a single guy myself, I completely get it. There's no need for accents and shit when it's just going to be you looking at the shit. It isn't barren, which my old apartment was, but it damn sure is lacking anything personal. Just white walls and black furniture. It's pretty much your typical bachelor pad. The only thing making it a step up from college dorm life is the lack of naked women posted on the walls with thumbtacks. It's not much of a step, but at least there's that. I had my reasons for keeping my old apartment void of personal touches. I didn't even have pictures of Coop out around the place. It just had the bare minimum needed for me to come, eat, and sleep. It was, hands down, my fuck bed. More importantly, there were no reminders of the life I'd left behind when I got out of the Marines. I wasn't enlisted long. I went in and got the fuck out. Don't get me wrong, I respect the hell out of these guys. I respect the hell out of anyone willing to risk their lives for our country. I saw things and did things that can never be unseen or undone. I've killed. I've helped others kill. And I watched half of my unit blow up right in front of my face. So when it came time for me to re-enlist, I declined. And then every day that I sat at home while my little brother was overseas on some unknown mission, I felt like I was dying a little inside. I suspect that Maddox has his own demons that follow him from his time in the Marines. I know he's highly decorated, but I also know that he's suffered the worst out of all of us over there. The kind of shit that sticks to your skin and never, never lets go. Are you just going to stand there, or do you actually plan on helping me clean up your shit? And where the hell is Kat? Look, Matt, I know it looks bad. Looks bad? This is what you think looks bad? My fucking flat screen is shattered. Want to tell me what in the hell happened? Okay. He just stands there, his hands on his hips, and waits. I'm not afraid of much. I've stared down the barrels of more guns than I can count. I've fought hand-to-hand with terrorists. I've defused bomb after bomb. But looking into the stone-cold depth of Maddox Locke's soul, yeah, I'm mad enough to admit that he scares the ever-loving shit out of me. Not knowing the best way to even start explaining the clusterfuck of events that led up to the destruction of his pad, I start the best way I can, stuttering. Well, you see, He looks at me, his jaw twitching with frustration, his eyebrow cocked, and his nostrils flaring with what I'm sure is pure, unleashed rage. Shit. I might have brought a chick home the other night. She may or may not have gotten a little upset when I basically told her to leave. You brought a chick home? To my house? A chick you don't know? To my house! I know you're pissed, Matt. I'm sorry. I just forgot. You just forgot, he mimics. When you just forgot, did you happen to be swimming in one of these many bottles that I keep picking up off the floor? Really, what's the point of responding to him? He knows. He fucking knows how hard it's been. If anyone knows what it's like for me right now, it's him, which is the reason I left Beck and Dee's place to begin with. I couldn't handle the looks of pure pity that would come from Dee or the talks Beck would try and throw my way. I'm lost right now, trapped in a black hole of nothing. Coop was the last thing I had, the last something real. With him gone, I just don't know what to live for. It sounds ridiculous even to me, I know, but he was everything I've ever lived for since the day our piece of shit mother decided that she loved being a cracked-out whore over a mother. This shit needs to stop. I was so lost in my head I didn't even notice Maddox walking right into my space. We're both evenly matched in body and bulk, but I know he could snap me in half if he wanted to. Brother, I don't know how, I whisper. You don't know how to what? I don't know how to move on. I don't know how to escape this this darkness. My voice cracks, and even though it's the last thing I want, I crack right along with it. He's gone, Matt. He's fucking gone. And I don't know how to get past knowing that he's never going to come back. And my brother is dead. He's dead, and I wasn't there to do a goddamn thing about it. You know where I was when I got that call? When I got the call telling me that I needed to get my ass here because it didn't look good? I was balls deep in some bitch I'd picked up. While I was screwing around, my brother was bleeding out, and that is fucking killing me. With tears falling down my face, my fists clamped tight, and my body rigid with anger, I crumble. I can't even meet his eyes, because if I see the same pity that everyone else has thrown my way in the months that have followed Coop's murder, I know I'll snap. Do you honestly think you're the only motherfucker who knows loss? Don't get me wrong. It fucking sucks that Coop is gone, but do you think he would want you wasting your life away, swimming in bottle after bottle and whore after whore? I know darkness, Asher. I know what it's like to live the same goddamn nightmare over and over again. But at some point, you need to wake the fuck up and realize there's more to live for. He shakes his head, looking off to the side and out the window of his apartment, where the sun is blazing bright. Another reminder that life goes on. You're killing yourself for what? To keep your mind on some continuous loop of grief? Constantly beating yourself up over something you have no control over? He's dead, Ash. He's dead, and there isn't anything you can do to bring him back. We all miss him. Trust me on that. And pretty soon, if you don't turn yourself around, you will successfully drink yourself to your own death. And please tell me what the hell that will fucking accomplish. What the fuck do you know about loss, Maddox? I scream, losing my tight hold on the control that's been my only weapon against crumbling into nothing the last few months. I know every fucking thing about loss, Asher Cooper. I know what it's like to lose your family, your friends, your life like you've always known it, and yourself. I fucking know what it's like to have nothing. And trust me, what you feel right now is heavy, but it doesn't hold a fucking candle. Work out your shit, talk it out, fight it out, but stop fucking drinking it out. When you're ready to take that step, you let me fucking know. But meanwhile, stop bringing sluts back to my house, and find my damn cat. He storms past me, knocking my shoulder so hard I fall right on my ass in the middle of his living room. And the only thing I can think of is that he's fucking right. But I have no clue how to fix my life. Chapter 6. Asher. Why anyone would think I should be responsible for something breathing is beyond me. I can't even take care of my own damn self, and obviously I can't take care of anything else since I lost a cat, an indoor cat. There aren't many places this beast could hide, either. I can hear Maddox slamming shit around and grumbling under his breath about me getting my shit together. Meanwhile, I've been crawling all over this damn apartment looking for a stupid cat. And I say cat loosely, since this thing is about 40 pounds. I wonder if I can get by with telling everyone that his cat beast scratched me to hell and not some crazy chick. Come on, cat, come out wherever you are, I say through clenched teeth. Stupid damn animal. I've checked the kitchen, the laundry room, and living and dining rooms. Nothing. I've looked in each bathroom and in Maddox's room. Surely I would have noticed a large cat living in the same space I had for the last 7 days. Where is Cat, you idiot? Maddox bellows through the apartment. Bastard, I grumble. Just when I'm about to give up, I spot a fluff of fur move in the back, darkened corner of my closet. It's not hard to miss since it seems to be Maddox's stuff-all hole. There's box on top of box, and even more crap piled on top of that. Come on, Cat, your keeper is home. I'm not a fucking keeper. I should be the keeper of your ass. Bet you wouldn't get in half the trouble you seem to be getting into lately. Maddox's deep rumble says directly behind me, causing me to jump slightly and knock a bunch of boxes on top of my head. Motherfucker, I spit out. I try to move the boxes out from on top of me. Maddox is no damn help, since apparently I scared Cat enough to have her run over me, and I can hear Maddox cooing at her. Seriously, is he talking baby talk to a cat? A little help would be nice. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? He calls on his way out the door. I spent a good 10 minutes trying to wiggle my wide frame out of the avalanche of boxes. When I finally get myself free, I spend some time picking up the mess that stupid cat caused. I refuse to believe that I did this, but I still feel like shit for trashing Maddox's house. Right when I finish up, I catch something out of the corner of my eye. Bending over, I pick up the picture that must have fallen out of one of the boxes. Turning over the picture, I see a younger, happier Maddox Locke. His arms, minus the tattoos that heavily cover them now, are wrapped around a tiny blonde chick, and he's smiling a smile I've never seen on his face. He doesn't have 1 ounce of the heaviness that cloaks him every second now. No, in this picture, he is the example of a man happy and in love. Where the fuck did you find that? Before I even have a second to reply, the picture is ripped out of my hands and crushed inside his fist. Want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about your shit? I shake my head, knowing that I should, but that I'm not there yet, and I'm not sure if I will be anytime soon. Is that part of your nightmares? This is my fucking nightmare. He storms from the room, slamming the door hard enough that the walls shake. I let myself fall back on my ass and lean up against the bed, my head falling to my hand before rolling it to pop some of the tension from my neck. 3 months ago, everything seemed so simple. When the hell did I start living some soap opera shit for my life? I know he's right, and he clearly knows what it's like to be living hell on earth. I've known him for years, and this is the first time he's ever let me see anything that could be haunting him. Maybe he's right. I need to start moving forward, but I know in order to do that, I have to make sure I've done everything I can to avenge my brother. Right or wrong, it's what I need to do. So with a new resolve to start moving forward from this limbo I've been stuck in, I pull myself off the floor and start pouring out every bottle of liquor I have stashed around my room and his apartment. Walking into Heavy's for the gang's weekly family dinner is the last thing I want to be doing right now. I've spent the last 4 days going over all the information I have gathered thus far on Coop's murder. Or I should say, the man behind the snowball that formed into a massive boulder of events that led up to his death. Dominic Murphy. That sorry piece of shit has his finger on literally everything gun and drug-related in the Southeast. Until recently, he's been like a ghost, completely untraceable. That was until I finally caught a break. It caused me to cash in just about every single favor I've ever collected over the years. As a bounty hunter, I've established relationships with a lot of men I'm lucky to have on my side. Everything from FBI, DEA, and a few local cops here and there. Dom's been spotted most recently right here in Atlanta. Last night I was lucky enough to have some surveillance footage of him at a local bar sent to me. I know what he looks like, what his security team looks like, right down to what he had for breakfast. And now that I know where to find him, nothing will stop me from taking the next steps I need to seek my revenge for Coop.
Asher!
I turn just in time to catch the slim body that is smashing into mine. The overwhelming stench of cheap perfume hits my nose at the same time that her large tits are crushing against my side. I put my arm up to brace her impact, but the only thing I succeed in doing is helping her mold her body closer to mine.
Hey, baby, did you miss me?
I just stare at her, and I can almost picture my face. My mouth slack, my eyes confused and slowly blinking, and my brows crinkled in either shock or disgust at myself because I have no idea who this woman is. Clearly, she knows me, given that one hand is possessively on my ass and the other is about 2 seconds away from making purchase on my cock. And I honestly have no idea if I should be more shocked that I have no clue who she is or that my cock is oblivious to her. She's attractive enough, a tight, trim body, large tits, and legs that could wrap around my body twice. Given the fact that she is wearing next to nothing, she would be a guaranteed sure thing and the typical type of woman I've been going after for as long as I can remember. She's a type of woman who's good for sinking yourself into, but not for conversation. The kind who, if I had a mother worth taking someone home to, you would without a doubt keep far away. I look over at the group. All of them, even the babies, seem to be staring at me in shock. But I only have eyes for one of them, the blonde who's haunted my every fantasy since the day I met her, those brown eyes as dark as rich mocha boring into my own. She's never been good at hiding how she feels, which is why I know that the attraction I feel for her is far from one-sided. But right now, the pain that is flickering back at me shocks me even more than the woman mauling me in the middle of heavies.
"Did you miss me, baby?"
she whispers huskily in my ears. Her warm, wet breath hits my skin and causes a chill of revulsion to run through my body, which she clearly takes as encouragement, unfortunately, since that damn hand that was tracing each one of my abs starts making its way past my belt. Chelsea's eyes widen, and before I can make sense of her expression, the woman next to me curls her hand roughly against my flaccid cock, squeezing so hard that I have to suck in a deep breath of shock and pain, again doing nothing but encouraging her to keep going. With one of her hands digging into my backside and the other doing its best to rip my dick off through my pants, she leans up and bites my earlobe between her teeth. The shock keeps me rooted, silently, in place. But when I see a single tear roll down Chelsea's beautiful cheek, I quickly start to detangle myself from the leech at my side.
"Oh, come on, Asher, you liked it rough the last time," she pouts in the most annoying baby talk I've ever heard.
Babe, I hate to break it to you, but I don't even remember who you are. Figuring that honesty is the best road to travel right now, I give it to her as politely as I can without just telling her that she was a warm hole my drunken mind needed.
"Excuse me?"
Which part of that didn't you understand? I ask. Oh, shit, I hear Axel laugh behind me.
"You idiot,"
Melissa mumbles under her breath.
"Sweet Jesus, even I know if I love the ladies like you hunks of sex, that is definitely not the right way to handle all of that hot mess,"
Sway dramatically adds. I turn around and glare at all of them quickly before returning my attention to the chick basically vibrating with anger.
"It's Pammy,"
she seethes. Pammy. Jesus Christ. Does every one of the chicks I sleep with have to have a name that screams bimbo? Right, Pammy. I don't mean to be a jerk, but I really have no idea who you are. I try to smile, but when I see the look of crazy bitch come across her face, I know that things are about to get ugly. Stop, I say harshly under my breath. Whatever is about to fly out of that pretty little mouth of yours, babe. In case you miss this, there are kids in your presence. I'm sure their parents are already going to lay into me since you decided to relearn your basic male anatomy while standing right in front of them. So the last thing I need is for you to start running that mouth of yours. Her eyes turn glacial, and I just know, that she didn't hear a word I said. Fuck me.
"You knew my name just fine a week ago when you were driving that thick cock inside me."
She reaches up and attempts to slap me, but I quickly catch her around her slim wrist. Braving a look around the table behind me wouldn't be the best move. I can feel the energy getting electric as the group takes in what just flew out of her mouth. A few shocked gasps, deep mumbles of outrage, and one high-pitched laugh that I know belongs to Sway. I close my eyes and drop my head when I hear Cohen speak.
"Daddy, roosters can't drive."
Looking up, I narrow my eyes at Pammy before pulling her away from the table with her wrist still in my hand. She practically has to run to keep up with me in those damn shoes she has on. But I'm so pissed that I don't even care if she trips and falls.
Chapter 7. Chelsea.
Roosters can't drive, little dude. She was talking about a movie that Uncle Asher took her to.
Greg utters as calmly as he can to a very curious Cohen. The rest of the table is in a mix of anger and hilarity over the scene we just witnessed between Asher and one of his many whores. And I say whores because that's exactly what they are. No woman I've ever had the displeasure of watching him hook up with has ever looked like she has an ounce of self-respect. They're always so fake. Huge breasts, big butts, and tiny waists. One thing he doesn't ever discriminate against is their hair color. So hey, at least he keeps an open mind. Disgusting. There was a time when I felt like he could be the one. A time when he wasn't drunk and sleeping with every easy lay that spread her legs for him. It didn't happen often, but those rare moments when I would catch him sober were some of the greatest. Someone needs to talk to him. This is getting out of control, Axe. I'm shocked that he even remembered what day it is to show up tonight, Izzy says to her husband.
Clearly he ran out of liquor,
Dee speaks from across the table. Beck shakes his head and reaches over her shoulder to pull her closer to his body.
How do you forget the name of someone that you sleep with?
Sway questions.
Hell if I know. I remember all the ladies I've had the pleasure of.
Greg chimes in after making sure Cone is distracted with Nate, Axel and Izzy's 2-year-old son. Pig, Melissa, his wife, smiles at him. I allow myself a second to feel the wave of jealousy wash over my body before quickly putting it back where it belongs, locked in a box deep inside me.
When was the last time anyone even saw him without the stench of alcohol oozing out of his skin?
Davy asks. He, like me, is pretty new to the group. He started as the front office assistant to the guys at Core Security when Emmy left. Out of everyone who had a hard time after Coop's death, Emmy might have taken it the hardest. Coop took the bullet that had been meant for her, and I can't even begin to put myself in her shoes. I hate that she left abruptly, but I understand why she did.
He's been drinking nothing stronger than Coke for the last 3 days,
Maddox says, speaking over the group and gaining every single one of our eyes, but he isn't looking at anyone else except me. His expressionless face is just boring into mine, his eyes clearly trying to communicate some kind of hidden message for me alone. I frown at him, not picking up on his underlying meaning.
You don't say,
Beck responds dryly.
Completely drink-free?
I don't know who said it. I'm too busy meeting Maddox's eyes without breaking, trying desperately to understand what he's telling me.
Completely.
His eyes never waver from mine when he confirms.
That's good, man. I've been worried about him,
Axel, I think, says to Maddox. There's more continued conversation about the state of Asher and his grief over Coop's death. Out of instinct, when I hear them bring up Coop's name, my hand goes straight to my stomach. I realize my mistake a second too late when Maddox breaks contact, and his eyes travel down to where my hand is splayed across my slightly rounded stomach. Maddox isn't a stupid man. He's probably one of the most intuitive people I've ever met. His eyes stay on my stomach, even after I move my hand away as if I burned myself. He just takes it all in. The only tell he gives me is when he looks back up and lets his guard down long enough to show the shock within the black depths of his normally blank eyes. Shit.
You.
He speaks through clenched teeth and points at me. Come with me. He doesn't even look to see if I'm moving to follow him before he roughly pushes from the table and walks away. What the hell? Izzy questions. I spare Dee a quick, slightly panicked look before making my way to where Maddox is waiting for me. He pulls me around the wall that separates the room and the bathrooms, allowing us a bit of privacy for what I know is going to be a hard conversation. What's going on, Mad? I hedge.
Don't play games with me, Chelsea. I know you don't trust me, and I don't blame you. You don't know me. Just let me get this out, and then we can get back to dinner. Anything you need, anything you want, or anything you feel needs to be done, you let me know. I'm not going to pretend to be a chick and understand what you're feeling. But you're not alone. Yeah?
For the first time since I met Maddox, every single trace of the hard man I've come to know is gone. Standing in front of me is a version of him that I'm not sure how to deal with. His face holds so much compassion and pain that I don't know if he's upset that I have kept this secret to myself or what. He almost looks vulnerable. Yeah, Maddox. Thanks, I whisper.
Does he know?
No. I can hear the shame painting that one heavy word. I'm not proud of myself for keeping this from Asher, and knowing that another person knows my secret and he still doesn't drives home that pain.
Are you okay?
This side of Maddox, this caring, emotional side, is such a shock that I don't speak at first. I've never, not once, seen this side. It's no secret to anyone, even me, though I'm new to this group, that Maddox holds his cards close and his pain even closer. There's always been a cloud over him, like his own personal hell just simmers too close to the surface for him to be anything but closed off. And knowing that he can see right through me is slightly terrifying and reassuring at the same time. I'm not alone.
Chelsea, how are you doing with this?
His eyes look scared. Whether it's for me, Asher, or whatever personal hell is chasing him, I'm not sure. I'm getting there, Mad. I'm worried, but not for me. I'm ready for this, excited even. It isn't the way I imagined it happening, but I really am happy. I just, well, you know, I don't know how he will handle this. I'm not a slut. I'm not sure why I felt the need to throw that in there, but to me, it's important that he doesn't think I'm easy. I don't just sleep around, and even though what happened between Coop and me could arguably make me a slut in a lot of people's eyes, I don't regret a second of it.
I didn't think you were, girl,
he says, his eyes losing that lost look, and he reaches out to pull me into a hug. I let my arms curl around his back and hold on tight to his shoulders, soaking up every ounce of strength he's offering. The muscles in his back ripple and roll under my fingertips when he brings his head down and rests his lips against my temple. We stand like that for a few minutes before he dips his head lower and whispers against my ear.
You're never alone. Don't for 1 second think that. You shouldn't be worried, scared, or afraid right now. This is a time in your life that you should be smiling that beautiful smile every second of every day. It's not going to be easy, but you're not alone. This baby will be loved. I promise you that. Asher needs to know, Chelsea. He needs that. And if you need someone there when that happens, you just say the words.
He pulls up, places another kiss on the top of my head, and with a small squeeze walks away. I stand there with tears in my eyes, just begging to spill over, and I smile. A genuine smile for the first time in weeks. I think I've always known that I wasn't exactly alone, but to have someone I hardly know strip me bare emotionally and address every worry I've had since my baby's father was murdered brings a kind of peace that I didn't know I needed. A safety that I didn't know I was lacking until this moment. Deciding that I need a moment to collect myself before returning to the group, I quickly make my way into the bathroom to clean my face up, completely oblivious to the furious eyes that just watched that whole scene unravel.
Chapter 8. Asher. I can't even explain the fury that is racing through my veins right now. After dealing with Pammy, my mood was already deteriorating. But after seeing Maddox with his arms wrapped tightly around Chelsea's luscious body and his lips against her creamy skin, what little control I had left snapped. She's mine. She doesn't know that yet, but I'm not going to sit back and let Maddox have her. The small rational part of my mind that isn't clouded in a red-hot rage right now is trying to remind me that I have no claim over Chelsea. Not only that, but everyone knows that Maddox only has eyes for Emmy. I should recognize that there is not one thread of a reason for me to be this jealous, but I'm already too far gone to listen to that nonsense. The only thing that matters is what I just witnessed. My woman in the arms of Maddox Locke. My woman holding him back just as tight. And my woman with a smile on her beautiful face that could light up even the darkest caves in hell. Hell, no. With a single-minded determination, I set off towards the women's bathroom I just saw her duck into. It's time to let her know exactly where my head is at, and I'm sick of this avoiding game she's been playing lately. You, I point to the waitress who just came out of the bathroom that holds my woman inside. Is there anyone else other than the blonde woman wearing jeans and a white t-shirt in there? She shakes her head slowly, her jaw slack and her eyes wide. Does that door lock? She again just nods her head. Good girl. You didn't see me. Got it? I pull a 50 from my wallet and hand it to her. She hesitantly wraps her fingers around the bill before hurrying down the hall. Who knows if she will keep her mouth shut? All that I heard and care about is that Chelsea is in there, alone, and I'm about to make it perfectly clear that she is fucking mine. The overwhelming stench of cheap perfume and fried foods is the first thing I smell when I walk through the bathroom door. It's like being slapped in the face with it. Why don't chicks understand that they don't need to bathe in that crap? We don't want them because they smell like the makeup part of the malls. You know, the part of the store you avoid because you feel like if you don't stop and smell that stupid white card, they might start running after you. Less is more. One of the things I crave the most about Chelsea is the subtle, sexy smell she has. I can't even explain it. I can even smell it in here, just barely, but enough that my cock is straining to find her like some damn beacon. Like fresh berries and the mouth-watering undertones of creme brulee. God damn, I can feel myself growing even harder. Visions of her underneath me as I slowly drive her body over the edge, smelling her on top of that lotion she is always rubbing into her skin. Fuck. I have to physically stop myself from storming up to her and taking her against the wall. There she is. She hasn't seen me yet. She's standing at the sinks, dabbing a wet paper towel against her face. I can tell that she's been crying. Her eyes are slightly swollen and red. Her nose and cheeks have a blush to them that, if she wasn't cleaning up the evidence of being upset, would cause the desire racing through my veins to hit a raging boil. I watch in fascination as she lowers the paper towel, looks at herself for a few beats in the mirror, and smiles. This isn't like the smile she had in the hallway. No, this is a smile I've been on the receiving end of before. The kind that makes me feel like the sun is shining on every inch of the darkness I've been trapped within. It is impossible not to feel touched when she turns that smile on you. I find my own lips tipping up slightly. What can I say? It's infectious. She takes a deep breath, holds her hands to her stomach, and closes her eyes. I watch as her lips move slightly as if she is speaking before she smiles again. Reaching down, I adjust myself quickly before she has a chance to notice that I'm here. Once I've curled my arm behind my back, I silently turn the latch and lock us both inside. Chelsea. Her eyes snap open and a look of horror and panic flashes over her features before she quickly hides it. A feeling of frustration washes over me that she is once again closing herself off to me. I have not one damn clue as to why she's been acting like this lately. At first, she would walk on eggshells around me, but then again everyone else did as well. Then, as we got to know each other better during the weeks she spent helping me research Dominic, I felt like she had finally let those damn walls down. That she had finally started to let me in. And then, last week, those walls didn't just come up, they were enforced with a strength I just couldn't wrap my mind around. How did things change so rapidly? Chelsea, I repeat when she doesn't make a move to talk.
You shouldn't be in here, Ash. Aren't you busy?
Ah, so this is the way she wants to play it. Are you jealous? I bait.
Ha, hardly. I don't want to deal with another one of your groupies.
I don't have groupies, Chelsea. I take a few steps and mentally grin when I see her chest start to rise and fall faster. Her eyes keep darting from my face to the door behind me. I let my lips curl into a smirk at the thought of her trying to run from me. I'm done letting her run. Why have you been avoiding me? She looks confused for a second before I see those damn walls getting thicker. Don't, I firmly state. Do not even think about making those goddamn walls any fucking stronger, sunshine. No more of that. Why have you been running from me? I come into a room you're in and you leave. I call and you don't answer. You've been there for weeks and now nothing.
I'm not running. I've been busy.
You can't even look me in the eye, so don't give me that line of crap. Her eyes narrow, and I watch in rapt fascination as she stands a little straighter, marches right up to me, toe to toe, and jams her finger into my chest.
You shit! Why would I want to be around you, Asher? Huh? So you can throw some more insults at me? So you can show me just how little you think of me, of our friendship? Or maybe, just maybe, I need another little self-esteem knockdown.
When she stops talking, her cheeks are flushed. Her chest is moving even quicker than it was before, and those eyes I love so much are blazing with her anger. What in the hell did I miss here? Sunshine, I have no clue what you are referring to.
Of course you don't, Ash. How could you possibly remember something that happened when you were so drunk you couldn't even stand up straight? Let me ask you this. Do you remember what happened to give you all those damn claw marks on your body? Don't even think about lying to me either. Let me guess. Another one of your skin and bones groupies?
I don't have groupies. The words are heavy with the angry power I feel forming in my gut.
Yeah, okay, then you have an army of sluts, easy bitches that you fuck every day or hour, I don't know. But I know I'm sick of watching it.
She rolls her eyes, but not before she can hide the flash of pain. And why is that, Chelsea? Is it because you wish it was you? Because let me tell you, I wish it was you every single time. Her gasp echoes against the walls. Even the noises from outside the door of the busy restaurant seem to mute themselves. It's just us in here. These are the moments you look back on when you're knocking on death's door and smile. These are the moments when you can just feel in your gut that something life-changing is happening. And I thank Christ that I'm sober enough to remember this. That's right, Chelsea, you. Do you really want to know how I got scratched up? It's because the last woman I had, unfortunately, didn't like it when I said your name when I came. I can't change the past, and Lord knows I'm no monk, but I'm done. Done with the drinking, the other women, and I'm damn sure done fighting this attraction we've both been dancing around for 3 long months. She gasps, and using it to my advantage, I crash my lips down to hers. Feeling her lips against mine, finally, is like finding water after years of a drought. It feels like coming home. It feels like I just got shocked with the highest voltage of electricity. The tingles shoot all the way from where our lips are joined straight to my dick. Her hands shoot up to my sides, tightly fisting my shirt. I run my hands up her arms, curl them around her neck, and tilt her head to give me a better angle, to feast deeply on her lips. When I lick her plump lips and they open on a moan, I feel her melt into me. I stand there and pour every bit of lust I've had building into this kiss, every promise of what is to come. We stand there, ignoring the world around us, while I take her in a kiss so powerful I have to lock my knees to keep from buckling. Damn the things this woman does to my body. I vaguely hear the pounding against the door. Between the wet sounds of our mouths mating together and our joined moans, it's hard to focus on anything else. When they get louder, I feel her stiffen under my hands, and I know the moment has been ruined. I pull back, not removing my hands from her neck, and rest my forehead against hers. My eyes closed while I try to calm the inferno that's taken over my system. I don't even have a second to go from fucking her lips with mine before she rips herself from my hold. Reaching out, I grab the counter and steady myself before looking up at unexpected anger.
How dare you, she says coarsely. I refuse to be another notch on your belt, Ash. You aren't hurting for attention, obviously, and I see the girls you sleep with. I know I'm not as tall as they are, or as skinny. Lord knows you made it perfectly clear just how chubby you see me. You had a clear shot at someone easy not even 10 minutes ago. Don't you dare come at me with your fuck. I don't even know how to get this through to you. You hurt me, Asher. You hurt me, and I don't know if I can stop thinking about it long enough to be nice to you. So, yeah, I have been avoiding you. You don't have to do me any favors by pretending to be into the chubby, lonely girl, okay?
Chelsea, please don't take this the wrong way, but I have no idea what you're talking about. I knew I had been spending more time drunk than awake lately, but until this moment, I didn't realize just how bad it had become. Ashamed isn't a strong enough word for how I feel right now.
I wouldn't imagine that you do, Ash. That's what happens when you wake up drunk and then work your hardest to get even drunker. You know, I thought we were at least getting to the point of friendship, but you don't sit there and insult your friends.
The pounding on the door gets louder while we just stand there. Knowing I can't let her leave without at least trying to explain myself, I turn and throw the lock before yanking the door open. Chill the fuck out, I spit at the shocked-faced ladies waiting to get inside the bathroom. It's not going to be long before they have Heavy himself coming to see what the issue is, so I turn back to Chelsea and work hard to get the right words together. Fuck! Her eyes widen at the brutal force I spat that word out with. Sunshine, I'm sorry. I wish I could remember what I did to make you look at me like that. I move closer, pulling her into my body so that I can feel her against my skin again. I'm fucking sorry. She looks at me, her expression screaming disappointment.
You might be sorry now, Asher, but how do I know that the next time you're drinking you aren't just going to do it again? I'm not at a place in my life where I can afford to not know which version of Asher I'm dealing with.
I go to open my mouth in reply, but she quickly stops me. Her lips press against mine with the softest kiss. I take a deep breath then and hold it, feeling her against me, smelling her desire, but knowing that if I try to do anything, I'm just going to prove to her that all I want is to be between her thighs.
You can't treat me like one of your groupies, Ash. That hurt. But hearing you basically call me the chubby girl that you would do if you had to, wow, that sliced me deep, and I just can't open that back up right now.
She kisses me again before pulling herself out of my shocked arms and disappearing through the door. Meanwhile, I just stand there wondering what to do next.
Chapter 9. Chelsea. Monday morning came way too quickly. I've been in a pissed-off, somewhat depressed fog since my run-in with Asher. I spent the weekend in bed, vegging on every single thing I could find that could fall into the junk food category. Ice cream, candy, peanuts, pickles. Okay, maybe pickles aren't junk food, but you tell that to my little bean. I've been lucky so far. I'm just about to hit the halfway mark of my pregnancy, and my bump is finally starting to look more like I have a baby in there, not 10 courses of Chinese takeout. Every time I look in the mirror and see the evidence of the life growing within my body, I'm overcome with a love I've never known was possible. That is, of course, quickly followed by a crying hormonal fit for a good hour. Between the crying and the weird depression jags, odd food cravings, and unbelievable sex drive minus the sex, I feel like my body has a mind of its own. I go from elation to fear in 2.5 seconds, and at the heels of all of that is guilt. Guilt because I still haven't talked to Asher. At first, I didn't want to tell him because I didn't know him. Then after I got to know him and realized my attraction to him, I was more scared to tell him than anything. What if he thinks I was just another one of Coop's whores? Or what if he thinks I did this on purpose? Irrational, that's all it was. Because when you strip all the bullshit away, he deserves to know, and I'm a huge bitch for not telling him. So that's why I woke up this morning. I made a promise to myself. I have exactly 3 weeks to tell him. In 3 weeks, I finally get to find out if I'm having a boy or girl, and I feel like Asher needs to be a part of that. He needs to know so that he has time to decide if he even wants to be part of that. God, I hope he does. Of course, today isn't going to be that day. I promised Dee that I would try one more date before I gave up on it for a while. The last idiot I attempted to go out on a date with showed up with a car so full of trash that I couldn't even make out where he was sitting. I wasn't even sure how he was able to drive that damn thing. There was trash for days. Clothes, bedding. Hell, I think he had food stuck to his windshield. Of course, that should have been the first clue that I needed to run. He got out, walked around the car, and gave me a huge hug. The only thing I noticed was the overwhelming stench. So, I proceeded to vomit all over his feet, his socks with holes and sandals wearing feet. And the worst part was that he didn't even seem to mind. He smiled, half of his teeth missing, and tried to kiss me. Needless to say, I all but ran back to my car and hauled ass out of the parking lot. I had to pull over twice to strip the clothes from my body and frantically brush ants off of me. And then I shamelessly ran back through the lobby of my apartment, past a blushing Joe, and straight to my place, where I took the hottest shower I could safely have while trying to talk myself out of a bleach scrub. So, this afternoon is it. If this date is another date from hell, I'm done. I wisely told Dee that this date was going to be a lunch date. That way, if it turned out to be another disaster, I wouldn't have to have my whole night ruined. I talked to date number 3, Philip, on the phone last night. He seemed pleasant enough, very polite and soft-spoken. He didn't refer to himself with any weird nicknames, and most importantly, he knew that I was pregnant and didn't seem to have a single issue with it. Famous last words, it seems. Pulling up outside the local burger hotspot, I immediately see him standing against a wall next to the front entrance, our designated meeting spot. He has a tall, sleek build of a runner, slim hips, flat stomach, and strong shoulders. His hair is clipped short, just enough length for me to run my fingers through his blonde locks. I can't see his eyes from here, but if I remember from the terribly grainy picture he sent me, they're a warm hazel. I take in his straight-laced clothes, typical country club type polo and dress slacks, all the way down to his loafers. Okay, that might be a point in the negative column. I'm so used to looking at the guys in their tough guy boots that loafers throw me off for a second. Shaking my head at my own foolishness, I climb out of the car and make sure that my clothes are in order. It's harder these days to find things that don't show off my stomach. I decided to go with a nice pair of black slacks and a loose-fitting blouse. Nothing that draws attention to my growing stomach. "Chelsea?" he questions when I get closer. His friendly open face lights up when he spots me. "Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you, Philip." I go to offer my hand, but he pulls me into a friendly hug. Okay, maybe another negative. I don't hug. I awkwardly pat his back a few times and pray that he isn't going to keep me in this hug crap for too long. "Not a hugger, huh?" he laughs, pulling away with his warm smile still in place. Well, thank God I didn't offend him. So far, so good. "Yeah, sorry. Must be weird being on the other end of an anti-hug person." We both laugh and make our way into the restaurant. "So, Philip, tell me a little about yourself. You mentioned that you own a construction company?" I grab my water and take a sip, waiting for him to answer. I'm shocked that I'm actually enjoying myself. "Please call me Phil. My father's Philip, and I feel like I need to have a sweater vest on when people call me by my full name." He flashes his bright white teeth when he smiles at me. Damn, he might be as close to perfect as I'm going to find. Or then again, it could be my mother yelling at me. He laughs at his own joke, and I smile, waiting for him to continue. "I opened up my company about 10 years ago. I worked through college building houses, and it just seemed like the right thing for me. I knew what I was doing and had years of connections to get the jobs done cheap. We do everything from small home repairs to complete demo and remodels. It's fun, and I love working with my hands. Just kind of fit." It must be impossible to work in Georgia heat during the summers. I couldn't imagine working outdoors, but then again, I pretty much sprint from air-conditioned building to air-conditioned car when it goes over 80. It's definitely not a walk in the park, that's for sure. I've been lucky, and my company does well, so the majority of the heavy work I contract out. I spend most of my working hours in the office, telling others how to do their job. We're interrupted for a second when our food arrives, and a comfortable silence settles around us. The noise of the other diners around us fills in the blank in conversation. We make eye contact a few times, his eyes heating with blatant desire. "Do you mind me asking about the baby's father? I don't mean to overstep. I just want to know what I'm dealing with." He actually blushes at that, and I can't help but smirk at his obvious discomfort in asking. "I don't mind. He passed away earlier this year. It wasn't a planned pregnancy, and unfortunately I never had a chance to tell him." I can feel the familiar tears burning my nose and threatening to fall from my eyes, but I quickly blink them back and push off the nagging guilt that my child's father isn't ever going to be here. "Oh God, I'm so sorry." His eyes flash with embarrassment and sympathy, and I reach out to grab his hand, reassuring him that he hasn't offended me. "It's okay. You didn't know. I've had time to come to terms with it, and I'm excited for he or she to come." "I can imagine. I've got to say, if you hadn't told me about the baby, I never would have guessed you were expecting." "Oh, trust me. You can definitely tell. I swear if my feet swell anymore, I'll end up barefoot before I even hit the halfway mark." I laugh and go to take another bite of my burger when I notice that Phil's gone oddly silent. His eyes, which had a spark of heat behind them, are now full out blaring. "Are you okay?" I question. He doesn't say anything for the longest time. His jaw ticks a few times and his eyes just burn into mine. It isn't until he reaches under the table with one tan forearm to obviously adjust himself that the alarm bells start going off. And to think it was going so well. "Phil?" "What? Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry. Look, I'm going to be honest with you because I feel like we should start our relationship with complete honesty." He pauses, looks me dead in the eyes, and waits a beat. I'm still stuck back at relationship, so it takes me a second to realize that he's still talking. "I don't even know when it started." "When what started? I'm sorry. I spaced out there for a second. I apologize." "I can imagine. It's pretty hot, isn't it?" He wiggles his eyebrows, and I notice for the first time how perfectly shaped they are. "What is pretty hot?" "Tell me, please, what color are they?" He practically pants. "Phil, stick with me, okay? What is hot, and what color are you talking about?" Frustration is getting the best of me, and I can feel my crazy pregnancy hormones kicking in because I'm 2 seconds away from throwing my burger in his face, which would be a shame because it really is delicious. Your toes, God, just the thought of them swollen and ripe has my mouth watering. I bet they're red hot and juicy, aren't they? He hisses out of breath, and I can see his forearm flex. I have to fight back a gag when I picture what his hand is clearly doing under the table. At the thought of my toes? I can't wait to get those little piggies in my mouth, he moans. Get them all wet, and let you take over from there. Excuse me? I shriek, drawing the attention of the nearby tables. He doesn't even seem fazed when his eyes darken even more. Babe, let's get the check. My ass is clenching just imagining you sticking those feet near my body. Holy shit. There is no freaking way he is serious right now. It's got you hot, doesn't it? Thinking about me sucking on your feet until your swollen toes are nice and wet. It has me so turned on right now that I bet I won't even need to use lube this time.
Phil, I think you've definitely got the wrong impression here. These piggies aren't going anywhere near any hole you have in your body.
Looking around frantically, I catch the eye of our waitress and signal that we need the check. I look over at Phil, disgusting, perverted, foot fetish Phil, and pray that she hurries the hell up.
Chapter 10. Asher. I've been in a foul mood since Chelsea and I shared that kiss. All I can think about is how she melted into my body, just as hot as I was to see where that kiss was going. The last thing I'd expected was for her to pull the emergency brake on it. How she can possibly think that I find her anything close to chubby is beyond me. Her body has curves in every place that is meant to drive a man wild. Just thinking about my hands holding her hips as I take her. God damn, it's the hottest thing that's been playing on repeat since the first time I saw her bend over to pick something up. Those hips, that ass. Fuck me. She's 100% woman, and I love every single inch of it. For the first time in my life, I want a woman who wants nothing to do with me. I crave her, and I have the worst feeling that I've done something to make her doubt that. The fleeting memory of her standing in front of me with tears raining down her face flashes through my mind momentarily. There 1 second and gone the next. I know I've made a lot of mistakes. I've drunk too much, and there are so many holes in my mind that I fear I might have done something during one of my drinking benders that has done permanent damage to the relationship we started to form. Before I can analyze the thought any further, my phone starts to ring. Dee?
Oh, dear Asher James, how are you this fine day? She sings through the line.
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, just fine. So tell me, what are you doing today?
She's up to something. Dee's been up my ass since we met, always trying to meddle in my business, and this phone call is screaming devious Dee. About to head over to the gym? Why?
Well, see, I'm over at Sway's getting my hair done, and the guys are all real busy. Is there any way that you could swing over to Fat Jack's and grab us some burgers? I'm really, really in the mood for some of their burgers.
You want me to get you lunch? Doesn't Sway have staff there that takes care of that crap for you? Unbelievable.
Oh, they're all out right now. You know, slow day, so he told them to go out and enjoy a long break. It's just a few of us here.
Right. What about Davy? Pretty sure he wouldn't mind grabbing his boyfriend and you some food. She's silent for a second. Then I hear the phone rustling against her hand, her muffled voice talking to someone near her.
He's out. Sick.
He's sick? I question, knowing damn well that she's full of shit, but curious enough to wonder what she's playing at.
Yep, so, Fat Jack's?
Dee, cut to the chase. What are you up to?
Shit,
she hisses. I can hear Sway yelling at her in the distance a few seconds before the phone is clearly ripped from her hands.
Asher, you tall glass of water, did you miss me? Of course you did. Look, what Dee here is so clearly terrible at is subtlety. I'm going to be honest with you, okay?
Yeah? As curious as I am, I can feel it coming. I just know that whatever is coming is going to set some sort of ball rolling, especially if Sway has a part in it. I just have to hope it's a calm situation they're about to get me into.
Sway here has noticed recently that you've got those sexy cerulean eyes trained on our fine little Chelsea. Oh, yes, I noticed those fireworks shooting all over the place, and it's a wonder no one got burned. So, Sway here is doing you a favor, darling. I just got word from little Miss Denise that Chelsea is currently on a date. As we speak, she's sitting that lush body down and having a meat-filled lunch. So if you want to make sure the only meat she's partaking in is the burger variety, I suggest you take those hot buns and get over to Fat Jack's. You got that, love?
That ball that's been sitting in my gut, slowly burning hotter at each word he has spoken, is starting to uncoil, spreading a wrath like no other to have spread throughout my body. My woman is out with another man? Oh, hell no. I clicked the phone off before grabbing my keys and storming out the door. Maddox looks up from grabbing his duffel off the floor, his eyes questioning the mood that is following me out the door. I vaguely hear him remind me that I'm watching Cat again until he gets home. Not willing to waste a single second on the fucking elevator, I start running at full speed down the 27 flights of stairs. The only thing I have my mind set on is getting to Fat Jack's as quickly as I can and claiming my woman. For fucking good.
Chapter 11. Chelsea. He's still looking at my toes. My skin is crawling with the way he's looking at my poor toes. I've tried everything to shift his attention from my feet, but he literally just moved closer and is looking under the table at my feet. I'm cursing my outfit now. Earlier today it seemed like a good idea to wear the cute new open-toed flats I'd picked up. I haven't worn them yet, and I love the way my red painted toes peeked out of the shoe. They made me feel sexy before. Now all I want to do is find about 10 pairs of socks and hide my feet for the rest of my life.
Oh, God, flex them again,
he slurs. I wouldn't have been able to stop the gag that came bubbling out if I had a gun pointed to my head. Please stop, I beg.
Let me touch them,
he wheezes, and before I can stop him, he has my ankle in his hands, my foot in his lap, and my shoe popped off, and he's basically masturbating my big toe. The burger I had so lovingly devoured not even 10 minutes ago is churning in my stomach. Unwilling to cause a scene, I squeeze my eyes closed and pray that I will just die on the spot.
Get your fucking hands off my woman.
My eyes snap open at the venom-filled voice at my back.
Drop her goddamn foot now before I rip your hands off your body.
The danger in his threat causes me to shiver, and his hand is immediately at the base of my neck. His fingers curl and flex against my skin, causing me to shiver again. All thoughts of my poor molested toes completely fly out the window.
Being as she is here as my date, I think it's safe to say that she isn't your woman.
Oh, what an idiot.
You have 2 goddamn seconds to remove your hands before I take your fingers and break each one. Then, when I'm done, I'll snap your wrist before moving to your fucking elbows. And if I feel like being nice, I might leave your arms at that. She is mine.
I try to remove my foot from his hold, but his fingers clamp tightly around my ankle, causing me to whimper from the pain. Neither one of them notices, but as the tension climbs between the two of them, Phil's fingers get tighter and tighter. Asher's hand is still holding me at the base of my neck, and it feels as if the two are having some weird tug-of-war minus the tug. I whimper again when Phil's fingers get even firmer against my skin. I can feel my toes, those damn toes, starting to tingle with the loss of blood flow, and just when I thought his hold couldn't get any more painful, he proves me wrong. The raw cry that escapes my lips shocks even me and has both of the men whipping their eyes in my direction. Phil takes my cries one of pleasure, and I can see him puffing out his chest. Asher comes around, not removing his hold but curling his fingers up the side of my neck and holding my cheek in his palm. His eyes look into mine for a beat. I can see the vehement intensity of his anger in those beautiful blue eyes. His gaze travels down my body until he sees the cause of my pain. When he looks quickly back up at me, I see the danger in his observation. He never breaks his stare. I see his other hand move in my peripheral, but I don't dare break the connection to him. I hear Phil cry out in pain a second before my leg is dropped. Asher doesn't wait a second. After pulling out his wallet, he throws a few bills down, then scoops me up in his arms and marches out the doors. I duck my head in the crook of his neck, running my nose along his warm skin and feeling safe. Safe and protected. He doesn't say anything, walking with a steadfast determination to his Jeep. He unlocks the door with ease and sets me gently down, before buckling my belt and jogging over to his side. And just like that, we're taking off towards the apartment at a speed that matches the rapid beats of my heart.
Chapter 12. Asher. I can't stop the rage that has fully consumed my every emotion. I can't even focus without seeing a red haze clouding my vision. When I walked through those doors and saw that motherfucker's hands on Chelsea, I believed myself capable of murder. Cold, hard murder, and I didn't give a fuck that I had witnesses surrounding me. My soul was demanding that I claim what is mine, that I tear that piece of shit to pieces for even breathing her air. He's lucky the only thing I did was snap his wrist to get him to remove his hold on her body. That still didn't satisfy the primal animal that is snarling to be set free. It's the same feeling I get when I think about what happened to Coop. That need to right a wrong, to claim what's mine. Images of Chelsea, her eyes closed and his fingers touching her feet, bombard my mind again, and I swerve my Jeep over a few lanes. Pulling off onto the shoulder of the highway, I rip off my seatbelt and jump out of the Jeep before slamming the door with enough force to rock the whole vehicle. I'm fighting every instinct in my system to turn the car around and kill. I'm at war with myself, and I am too out of control to correct it. I need to claim, to mark, and to prove that she is mine. I pace back and forth in short successions before stopping in my tracks and whipping my head around to look back at Chelsea. I was expecting her anger, but when I look back and see her curled forward with her shoulders shaking violently, I immediately rush back to the Jeep. This time I bypass my door and jerk hers open. She shoots up and hiccups a sob before crumbling again. This time it isn't herself she is escaping to. No, she lunges forward, almost falling out of the Jeep, and wraps her arms forcefully around my neck. Pulling my hips back slightly, I move her body so that her legs are hanging out the side of the Jeep. I push them lightly apart and step in between her thighs. She immediately wraps her long legs around my hips and all but crawls inside my body. I stand there, running my hands down her back, and let her take every ounce of strength I have in my body. I can feel her trembling against me, her tears soaking my shirt, and her heaving breath against my neck. I just keep running my hands down her back and press my lips to her head. The feel of her body and the smell that never fails to make me roll my eyes in yearning, combined with the adrenaline that is still thundering through my body, does nothing to help ease the need I feel to claim. To make her mine. Without speaking a word, not trusting myself to even open up my mouth, I reach my hands up and unwind her body from mine. She looks up at me with confusion before shock takes over her features and she jerks her body back in the seat. Don't even think about it, I seethe. Her eyes flash, but she visibly tries to relax her protective posture. I take a few steadying breaths before I walk back to the driver's side and pull back into traffic. It's time that Chelsea and I have a long overdue chat. I want to know what the hell she's hiding, and more importantly, I need to make sure she understands just where the hell things stand between us. The drive back to the apartments doesn't take long in reality, but with the thick anticipation of what is to come coating the air around us, it feels like hours. Chelsea hasn't spoken, not one word. Her silence is alarming. I'm used to her sweet murmurs, the snarky bursts of fiery attitude she normally keeps closed off from others, and most importantly, that deep-rooted desire that is usually blazing in those brown gold pools. I hate this closed-off, scared vision of her, and I'm almost afraid to believe that it could be me she's afraid of. We pull up, park, and silently make our way past a smiling Joe and into the elevator. She goes to press the button for her floor, but I grab her lightly, pulling her flush with my body. No, I growl, the primal sound shocking even my own ears.
Please,
she pleads, her eyes round with what I can only guess is panic.
Sunshine, would I ever hurt you?
Get that look off your beautiful face, I murmur, lightly pressing my lips to hers. I take a deep, reassuring breath when I feel her body relax slightly in my arms.
You scare the ever-loving shit out of me, Ash. We need to talk, and right now, I'm just trying to take a moment to get over the fact that when you hear what I have to say, you could hate me forever.
A little dramatic, don't you think? She doesn't say anything, just looks up at me with pain very evident in her eyes. Even with the anger from Fat Jack still surfing through my body, I can feel the trace of apprehension starting to take hold of my skin.
You don't get it, Ash. There are things I haven't told you, things that could change the way you think you feel for me, things that could change everything, and I have no clue how to get past this. Don't you see? Don't you see how much you mean to me? I'm not sure I could handle you not wanting to be a part of my life anymore, even if it is just as friends.
My brow creases with her words. You're going to realize real soon that when I say you're mine, I mean it. We've been dancing around this for way too long. The earlier feelings of uncontrollable anger over her being out with another man threatened to take hold of me again. It's taking every thread of control to keep myself calm, to stop myself from throwing her on the floor of the damn elevator and showing her just how mine she really is. And before the day is over, there will be no fucking doubt in that pretty little head just how much I mean that. Her eyes darken, but not out of the desire I wish I saw. No, this time they get darker with her sadness, and I wish there was something, anything, I could do to take that from her.
Chelsea. While sitting in the car on the way back to the apartments, I busy myself with trying to figure out what just happened. I'm almost positive that Asher just claimed me. My ankle is killing me from a crazy feel at his hands crushing deep into the muscles and tendons. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a huge welt-like bruise when I get a good look at it. The ride up is more heavy silence. The tension between us is so abundant that I keep shaking uncontrollably. I don't fear Asher. Even when he was at his drunkest, his meanest, and his worst, I never feared him. It's almost been as if his pain was my own, which even to my own mind makes no sense. Sure, we've grown as close as two friends who have red-hot chemistry can get, but ever since the day that I met him, I knew there was potential for something so powerful that I'm not sure I would come out the same person in the end. He makes me feel alive, and completely untethered to my own sense of reality. I'm not exactly naive when it comes to men and relationships. I've had a few steady boyfriends, but nothing that I was really willing to invest myself 100% in. I haven't been avoiding being in a committed relationship, but I've also been unwilling to give myself to someone who clearly wasn't eager to look at me as anything other than a warm body. Which is one of the main reasons I've avoided acting on the attraction between Asher and me. That, and the obvious elephant in the room. And in the back of my mind, I have to be honest with myself. Sure, we have a friendship, as precarious as it seems at the moment, and the combustible attraction, but when he finds out about the baby, how do I know that, if he still wants something from me, it isn't going to be just because I'm carrying a part of his brother? With a deep sigh, I lean back against the elevator car and mentally prepare myself for what is to come.